as parents, we want our children to know that we are there for them. But how much is too much? A new generation of kids called the Boomerang generation is taking over. Mike Sullivan with Take Charge America. He is here to tell us how we can deal with our 20-somethings and maybe our 30-somethings and 40-somethings that seem to be moving back home. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Let's get personal here for a second. Did you ever move back home?
I did not. But
is it because their parents wouldn't let you?
No, it was, although they made it unwelcome enough that I wasn't tempted.
Right. Maybe that's what we need to do, right?
Well, I think that's actually not a bad strategy. I did a little of that with my children, but all three of them came home at least briefly.
Okay, so what is Generation Boomerang? I've never heard that before.
Well, I think it's just a descriptor to use to talk about, if you will, young adults in these trying economic times who don't have a lot of choices. The unemployment rate is so high, the job opportunities are so limited that when they get out of college or get out of the military or even after they've had a job and lose it, they don't have any place to go.
Right.
They can't keep themselves, so they go back to mom and dad. All
right, well, help us sort of set some of these ground rules. How can the parents deal with, A, them asking to come back, and then should we let them come back?
Well, most of us as parents feel kind of obligated to keep our kids from living on the street. So most of us
you
will.
Think?
Well, most of us. So we'll take the kids back.
Right.
But we have to recognize that although we're doing them a short-term favor, if we keep them very long, it's not a long-term favor.
Right.
Kids need to be independent. They need to learn to make their own decisions. They need to learn to be independent and to take care of themselves financially. So we have to encourage them to deal with their situation as quickly as possible and get back to living alone.
Okay, so how do we do that? Here's the conversation. Dad, please, I don't have a job. Can I come stay with you? And what do you say?
You say, fine, you can come stay with me, but we're going to have an agreement, and it's going to be in writing, and it's going to say what you're going to do, what you're going to do about finding a job, what you're going to do about improving your employability, if that's the issue.
Or rent.
Or rent, and what you're going to do while you're here. If you can pay rent, that's ideal. But even if you can't, you can do other things around the house. You can contribute. You can be less of a drain on the family finances.
Now, what if that time comes and it's, let's say, 6 months, and that 6 months is here and they still don't have a job?
Depends a little bit on the circumstances. I would say...
If they spend every day on the couch watching TV?
Exactly. In that case, I would say, you've got 2 weeks and you're going to be out of here even if you're living on the street. Because there usually are jobs. They may not be the jobs the kids want, but even if you're doing fast food, at least you can do something. You can bring in a couple of dollars. You can use your time more productively than just playing video games.
Right. What do you think about what I've heard, setting up an area, giving them a special place to work or to help find a job?
I don't know that I'd make it too easy on them. I would certainly make sure that they had a place.
Serve them their breakfast, a newspaper, and maybe some coffee every morning?
Not going to be doing that, no. No, I would not make it too easy. I would make sure they understood that they're contributing. Yes, they need to have a place where they can prepare resumes and send them out, but they can do that on the kitchen table. I would not make it too pleasant for them.
Yeah, they'll never want to leave.
Exactly.
So my guess is that's sort of how we get them back on track. What are the things that we can do to get them back on track so they can get the heck out?
Well, aside from not making it real pleasant and providing coffee in bed, you also...
Maybe they can be doing that for us.
That would help. Say that's one of their chores, provide our breakfast in bed. But you also do need to help them because it is true that they may not have the skills or experience to deal with their own financial issues. So you need to sit down. You have that right now if you're providing the rent-free living or cheap rent living.
Right.
What are they doing about student loans? What are they doing about their credit card bills? How effective are they at finding work? You need to make sure that you're helping them to have a life plan and deal with all of those issues so that they're more enabled and more able to become productive, independent people, which is the goal, to get them out.
Right. How long do you recommend them staying with you? How long did you let your children stay with you?
Well, it varied. In one case where I thought it was going to be an issue, I made it a 60-day deal.
Okay.
In one case, I made it so unpleasant.
Were they out in 60 days?
Yes.
Okay.
He had no choice, and he was out, and he was fine.
Okay.
In another case, I made it so unpleasant that one daughter left before the 60 days were up.
She was bringing you breakfast in bed, huh?
Not exactly, but we had a rule that she could stay out as late as she wanted because she was an adult, but that 8 o'clock every morning she had to be up and dressed and looking for work.
Okay.
After a while, she decided it was easier to live somewhere else.
I bet. And what about the other one?
The other one I let stay longer because she was actually working and contributing and was kind of old-fashioned and was saving up for a wedding, and I was just so impressed with what she was doing around the house that I let her stay for many months.
Right.
And she was more helpful than not. So I was being selfish there. But she got out, she became independent, she's doing fine.
Great. Well, happy to hear that. And now you've got your house back.
I do.
If they wanted to come back again, would you let them?
At least temporarily, because I am one of those easy parents that I wouldn't let them live on the street. But we'd start right out with a written plan to get them out again.
Okay. I love it. You can go back anytime. Great advice. You seem like a pretty cool dad, too. If I wanted to come stay with you, would you?
I'd have to talk to my wife about that. Yeah.
Okay. I can make you guys breakfast in bed. All right. Some great information, and we are going to have all of the information on our website.